Hey listeners, it's Carla Vasquez. Just want to let you know that for episode 2 of Carla Vasquez Thinks Out Loud with Sarah Kennedy, we had a couple of tech issues, and so the audio is out for about 18 minutes. So it's a little wonky. After that, it clears up just fine. So please listen, like, subscribe, and enjoy.
We're back. You're podcasting. I think the mic's a little less. We're moving on. I'm just thinking out. Yeah, I was on your podcast, and I've been on a couple other ones. And then, did you ever have this feeling? You've had how many? Just one podcast?
No, I've had
a bunch.
Maybe I could say I've half a dozen, maybe. Yeah.
And on your first one, especially, did you feel like you had to watch? I don't know. I came into this last week, and I was like, oh my god! But I didn't watch every podcast and read every book and watch every movie and listen to all the news and every newspaper. And I didn't lose the weight, and I didn't cut my hair right, and I just felt like everything had to be a certain way. But is it? You'd say it's just a learning and growing. I just brought her here to give me advice. So it's just a selfish reason.
No, I mean the first one I did was on SoundCloud, and it was just I just wanted to see what the tool was like, and so it was just me talking about nothing. I had this theory that I like to talk about when I don't know what to talk about, and it's about the plot of Reba McEntire songs and how dramatic they are. And so that literally one of the first podcasts I ever put out on SoundCloud was just me being like, you guys ever think about this thing about Reba McEntire? I think that's weird. Why?
I'm a huge Reba fan.
I love Reba. I love her. She's my favorite.
What song? Wait, what's one of her best songs? Most popular? I know a little of it.
So Fancy is the most popular one. That's the best one, and it's about a really poor family that just gets their oldest daughter ready to go be a prostitute.
Oh.
And then the rest of the family dies off because they're so poor.
I love these old storytelling country songs. And
then there's The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia, which is a cover.
Yeah.
And that's a murder mystery all the way through. You know what I mean?
It's about Georgia. So many Georgia songs.
It's on people's minds. And then and then there's this other song and it's not even one of her singles. It's the most wild song when I describe it to people. So it's about this lady who meets a guy at a party and then has a one-night stand with him, and then he gives her AIDS.
Oh.
And she dies.
Oh. Was this follow-up to TLC Waterfalls?
A little bit, yeah. It really is right around the same era of it, too, which is why it's so weird that it's happening in conjunction with each other, but the whole song is this moral screed about don't have one-night stands, he might give you AIDS.
Reba with the PSAs, man.
It's not even saying, yeah, it's just statistically that was less likely to be what gives you
Deep dive conspiracy theories.
Yeah. So I did that one, and then I was on Dead Things for a long time with Genevieve and Jody, and they just talk about death in depth.
Oh, nice.
And which is it's pretty heavy. So I think I got picked because number one, I had a nice microphone. I always think that's a good thing to do. These are the finest microphones. Secondly, I can usually when things get really heavy, I compulsively kind of try to keep things up and light and whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was cool. And then I did Tadar, which is it's still you can listen to that one on Spotify right now, and it's so me and my friend Hattie explore Taylor Swift's career and life through a queer lens.
I love that.
Yeah. We were really noteworthy on iTunes for 3 weeks.
Really?
When it came out. Yeah, I was that was good.
Love Taylor Swift. This is prerequisite for every female friend I have that is not, and I'm not I don't know Taylor Swift that well, but it happens. All the female friends I have across the board, whether they're totally different, they all love Taylor Swift. It's the number one combining thread. I told you I met her, or I didn't meet her. I kind of saw her from afar, me and pushed to the wall, basically.
She making out with a girl, because that would be really help me in my podcast.
She didn't have a girl with her. She had Abby, which you could say
her best friend.
Is it their best friend, or is it her best friend?
Well, listen, we don't have time to get into this, but the song 15 is really about this idea of kind of watching straight people be straight in front of you, and then kind of being well, that sucks. That looks like that sucks a lot.
Oh no, try banana.
That's one theory. It's one going theory among many, and most of them are just that she's a completely straight, normal girl, no problem. So don't think that I
Taylor's gonna come out next year.
Just something
as queer.
Oh no, and then I'm gonna be I knew it. I'm to the point. I'm yeah. I did a one-woman show about it in New York.
How long was this 1-woman show?
It was only supposed to be 45 minutes. I went an hour. And
Taylor Swift.
all about Taylor Swift and all about this theory that I have about her. And it was so fun. And it was good. We sold out, except I did reserve 2 seats for her and Carly Kloss in case they wanted to come by. yeah.
Wait, did you invite them or something?
No, but I got press for it. I was in there were things about it.
Good.
So it was, she does that sometimes where she just surprises people or does weird things.
Pops up.
And
yeah,
so,
she was doing a lot of things during COVID, I saw.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. She should have. This was in New York, right?
Yeah.
Sarah, for those of you that don't know, you started comedy in New York, correct?
Mm-hmm.
From here. Started here.
I started here. Did comedy here for 5 years. Moved to New York for 5 years, and then I've been back for almost 2.
12 years on the info? Comedy? Super impressive. To have Sarah on, gurus of sorts. And just good energy. Oh yeah, but I saw Taylor Swift that worked at a department store in Kansas, in Lawrence, where Katie was, and Abby went there, her best friend Taylor Swift. And I was working in one department of it, and the makeup department was next door, and I just see this golden mane walk by, very tall golden mane, and then a redhead, bright redhead, and then a big black bodyguard. And I was like, oh, that's a famous person. It definitely was. It was Taylor Swift. So then I went over there and was meandering around the makeup and just being really creepy, which was fun times. I didn't actually end up stalking her. Yeah. So that's great. What other podcasts are you doing? Oh, you're going to be doing another one.
Yeah, I'm working on a new project right now. It's a limited run podcast right now. Although now, the more and more I get into it, the more I'm this could go on forever.
Yeah.
And I brought him a sticker too for it. Look at that.
What? Comedy Ghost Town podcast.
Yeah. So it's called Comedy Ghost Town. Yeah. It's for you. It's a gift I brought. Mm-hmm.
I love it. Getting gifts, so sweet.
So it's I'm investigating. This is the thing about it. I'm investigating the history of Albuquerque and why we don't have a comedy club and what it would take for us to open one and sustain one. Because there's been attempts. There's been we had a comedy club here for a long time, and now there's even this kind of going theory that there's no comedy in Albuquerque at all, and that's not true. Yeah, and so just exploring all of this and where this is coming from and what and just asking business owners and people who've opened bars or even government officials and stuff like that about the laws and stuff here and just trying to figure out what is stopping us from having. Because these are a couple just little facts about Albuquerque. Our nearest population, neighbors, in population not nearest to us, are actually some of our nearest neighbors too. So Tucson and El Paso are very similar to us in population. Milwaukee is actually nearly identical to us in both population and then also in crime rate.
Really?
Yeah. So they have I think they had maybe less than a dozen violent crimes more than Albuquerque did one year, and so they're just right underneath us. And so I was all of those places have dedicated performance places for comedy in particular, but we don't. So what is it?
What's keeping it? Why aren't we getting off the ground? And we were talking too, there's different things, the laws and things, and the one I kind of brought up, I was we just need cohesion, people to come together and have not even just one thing, but just work with everybody and everybody not have always the same. I mean, the shows are great in town. Everybody's doing a lot of stuff right now. There's a lot more going on, but sometimes you do see this venue always has these same comedians. These always, and, I think we should just mix it up a little bit more, and so that the crowds that like to go to that place are seeing different comedians moving in and out.
Yeah, and on the other end of it too, I think performer-wise, if we want people to come here, we're pretty isolated, right? So you pretty much have to drive 4 hours to get to the next biggest place. So if we want somebody to come down here, we need to give them a weekend's worth of a whole varied amount of shows and show them what it's like here. And so sometimes when people get territorial and be you can't perform everywhere because then no one's going to come to ours, that is a little short-sighted because I think if you shared the performers with everyone, the comedian themselves get more stage time, which is what they want. They want to maximize that out as much as possible. Yeah, and then if it's a Friday night show and then a Saturday night show and then maybe a late night Saturday night show that has a different premise to it or something like that, where maybe it's a debate show or we used to do Comedians Power Hour or whatever, something like that.
Band that's for a while. That was really fun.
I love those kind of shows. So that kind of stuff. Just make it.
I like that. Do you think you'll be bringing Bit Bandits back? Sorry,
No, this is great.
Because I did Bit Bandits.
Yeah.
Which is fun. If you can
Yeah.
explain really quickly
Sure.
what it is.
So Bit Bandits is a show where you write your set list, because everybody has a set list usually when they go on, or they have like titles for their jokes, and the same way that bands do with before a concert,
An outline.
and then you just give it to somebody else, and that person has to look at your topics and in fact just riff and make new jokes based on your jokes. And then you get to come back up and do your own jokes at the end of it, which is really cool because it's like you get 2 sets, which is weird for a comedy show. A lot of times that's really weird, but it's neat to get the extra stage time. And then sometimes you can walk away with a whole bunch of different perspectives on something that you were writing that you didn't think of.
I still do a couple of jokes that I came up with based on the set list I got. I think I got Jack Tapestry. And
cool.
I still do a couple of jokes that, nothing to do with the jokes he does, but like just from his cue, like his few words, I still do some of those, which is fun. I like that show.
I'd love to do it again. I did it with Kevin Baca, and I haven't seen Kevin Baca since COVID. Yeah, we did one Zoom call with him and Royal and Nicholas Starr.
Yeah, I've just seen it.
Yeah, and Kevin got a new job making soap at Los Poblanos, and he's real into that. And so I just don't know. When he wants to come back, no problem. If he wants to just like bequeath the show, like I can run with it by myself, but I don't want. I want to make sure I defer to him a little bit. And it's a partnership. So.
Yeah, I think he wasn't doing the comedies anymore. Oh man, yeah, it's been interesting to see who's still doing it and who's new out in the world since after the pandemic.
Yeah.
To see who's like moved back to town or this seems very interesting right now. I like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we didn't do it this time, but eventually we're gonna have you do a fear.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna have you do like a fear faster thing. Of pre-record segment of your fear. Can you share with everybody listening, what is your fear?
My greatest fear, and this is like well documented, this is something I'm not shy about, is a social situation without enough chairs. I've told people before, this is what I imagine hell to be. So hell will be an eternity of that feeling when you're sitting at a chair and then your friend comes in and we didn't save one for them, and they kind of look around and then they kind of are like, oh, and then you're like, oh no, like that feeling is my, I am definitely afraid of that feeling.
So you just like give your seat.
Yeah. Or I'll just make sure that where we're going is like where we're sitting and where we're going and all that stuff. But considering like all of it, I will do anything to avoid being in that situation. It is my biggest fear.
I've been told I'm like helpful to a fault, because like if people come and people are like, oh, here's this and here's a drink and here, and they're like, like, we're fine. We'll figure it out. We're adults. We can find their own things. Okay, want to help. Okay, I have a question and maybe plugging into your psyche a little bit about the fear stuff. Did you have a really bad game of musical chairs growing up?
No, I was really good at it.
Maybe that's why. Maybe you feel bad for being so good at it and stealing so many people's chairs.
Yeah. Cakewalks and all that stuff.
You went all the cake.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why, is because now you feel bad for taking all those seats from everybody else that you're trying to
turn it around and get some karma back.
Yeah,
I can do it. Yeah, that seems right.
Also, I'm sure running shows, though, it's like that's the thing. It's like, well, we're gonna have enough chairs. Is the seating right?
I wish that was a problem, Carla.
Or wait, rather it'd be like, should we take out some chairs and smush them together?
Yeah.
What chair movement? I love it. Oh man, we're talking about Taylor Swift, though. I do have a question.
Sure.
Okay, so there was the Olympian that turned away from the flag recently. A tangent question: if the LGBTQ flag or flags had a national anthem, what would it be, and is it already written?
Well, it's hard. There's these anthems, like the word anthem is something that gets tied with the gay community quite a lot.
They're like, this is my anthem.
Yeah, exactly. Finally, an anthem. It's like YMCA was an anthem. Like, that's
Lady Gaga's every album.
Yeah, exactly. I got an email today from the Foundation, and I was like, why am I still on this email list? Like, it was something that her and her mom started when that song came out to kind of be like, we're not just singing a song.
Yeah, I actually forgot about this.
But it was like 13 years ago or something. Like, I think, because I think it came out in like 2008 or like whatever. But maybe a little bit later than that, because I remember I did a show in El Paso for Gibran. At the time, his name was Gibran the Comic.
It was half comedy, half magic.
Oh,
Comagician.
That's hard to say.
And I wish I remember his last name right now, but he's a great performer. He's so funny, and he comes up here a lot. So like he's like one of the people who pass through. And my picture was on the poster, and I remember it was like one of my first shows where like it was like I was the headliner. Oh my god! Yeah. And then a bunch of women came to the show specifically because they had seen a girl with short hair on the poster, and they're like, I bet I know what she's gonna talk about. Yeah. And so they hung out afterwards, and then as soon as everything was kind of done at the show at the bar, it was also one of the first shows where I was ever like given a hotel room as like part of my payment.
Nice, yeah.
And so I got a full car of my friends, like I mean all like 5 of us in a car, and I was like, we're gonna get like 2 queen beds instead of 1 king bed, and we're just gonna all enjoy this like weird free Best Western room.
Of course, it's the Best Western.
Oh yeah,
that's where I partied in high school.
Yeah. Then that's kind of what it was. So it was like that. So we got the end of the show happens. The 5 of us are hanging out, and these ladies come up and they're like, "Hey, can we hang out?" And we were like, "Yeah." And then they made us walk like a mile and a half to this gay bar that was like down an alleyway. It was like and then
like, hey, do you want to get murdered with us today?
And I was like, okay, we're just gonna. Hopefully now we're a big enough size that like you couldn't.
Yeah,
you couldn't.
We're a group.
We'll get you.
We got mace.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I don't mace. I am afraid to mace myself. Yes.
I want to apologize to everybody who's listening right now. Basically, the mic on the computer was picking you guys up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
We sounded like real far away.
Yeah.
Oh, so they haven't heard anything we've said so far?
No, they've heard what you said.
Just quietly.
But it just sounds like.
No, it sounds like
a different room.
Now you're going.
Oh, it does sound different in my head now a little bit.
No, we wouldn't have heard it. It's just on there. So we were sounding like a Zoom call over here.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And then we were sounding like.
Don't apologize, Larry.
Yeah, Larry.
We're still working things out.
My tapping of the keyboard.
That's good.
I tap over here.
It's like an immersive experience on everything.
Yes.
Also a bit, by the way. You thought the mic stuff was a bit. This is a bit too.
No, yeah, we were just trying to see how loud we could talk to the thing. Yeah. Projecting. So you're down this alley.
Right. So we go to this club, and I remember it specifically because they were playing. This is always something that I love when I go out, is when the DJ will play the music videos of the songs.
Oh, yeah.
It is my most favorite thing in the whole world.
Yeah, like depressing ones or something.
Yeah, so it was. He played a Lady Gaga one from the album that had "Born This Way" on it, and that's a very visceral memory for me. So
it is the anthem. But then
that's
also,
an anthem. Yeah.
Also, you're talking about like you being on poster with short hair. Do you feel like people like want to look to you as like, this is our like lesbian comedian. This is our, this is the one, or that's all she does is gay jokes, or all she does is gay jokes. Yeah, it's like, and I don't mean to like put you into that box. I'm just wondering if that's been a thing, because I mean I'm queer, but I'm straight passing. I'm a little more straight passing. Your eyebrows look amazing, by the way. I'm just saying.
Just got them done. Just got them done.
But yeah, so I just wondered if that's something that you feel like has been.
Well, when I started doing comedy, none of my jokes were about being gay at all, because there's so much about the way that I found myself to humor and comedy in general that I think was very self-defensive. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of like, they won't hate me if they like me, so make them laugh. And then, so every joke I wrote ever was always about like TV, light current events, like you couldn't even imagine, like whatever, and then like stories about my family or whatever. And I had people who would just like introduce me to other comedians, and they'd be like, this one's great, she's gay but she never talks about it, it's awesome. And then I remember being like, well, that's not necessarily what I do, like that's not, I mean, I'm just have other things to talk about also. And then it started to really bother me, because I was just like, that's not a feature, that's a bug, and it needs to be addressed in a way that, like, I can still do things. But I will say that when I was in New York, I got in with like a really niche group of comedians who we all performed on each other's shows, and we did amazing things and made awesome opportunities for each other, and they're coming to my wedding, and they're amazing people, and I love them.
That's awesome.
We also did shows with gay people, for gay people, all throughout gay New York, you know what I mean? Nice. And so like I built this whole set around my identity at that point. Which then now, being back here, I have kind of a fun mix.
Yeah, you do have a really good balance of, not even just, it's a gay joke, but just your whole set in general. You talk about so many different great topics, I think.
I try to, but I do think that there is a moment where I think there's comedians here in town who are like, I'm going to save her for the lady night or for the, that, you know, like maybe once we have like a, you know what I mean? Like once we establish with the regular comedians, then we'll get Sarah in here for something. And
I think maybe they're just like scared to ask you because you're like, they're like, she's the best. You won't want to do our show. You are very well liked in the town because Sarah just has the best energy. That's why I wanted you here too. Like you're just like, I've heard this many times with you not being around, people verbatim being, Sarah Kennedy is just like this light, like this bright, like awesome light, and just so great to be around. So
that's nice.
It's true, people. It's true. Every ounce. Oh man. I would usually have my sisters chiming in a bunch, but I think they're both traveling right now, and one's like maybe hungover. So
Sure.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Been talking about things. Okay, so we're gonna do something really quick. So I'm gonna cut you off. I asked you to bring something today.
Yes.
Kind of last minute. I brought something too, kind of, but we're gonna do a little show and tell for fun. We'll explain to the listeners. If you're not watching. So I don't know what her item is. It was a very last minute thing. It's just something special that you could bring.
Yeah.
So take it away.
Well, thank you so much for asking me to do this because this is really one of my favorite stories to tell anyway. My item that I brought today is a necklace, like a medallion that was given to me by the rapper 50 Cent.
No, it wasn't.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Shut up.
It absolutely was.
This is a great. Okay.
And it has my initials in it. It says SK right there in it, and
What?
I'm probably more into my initials than I am into my full name. Because even on my glasses, I have my
You
initials.
do have SK on your glasses.
What's your middle name?
She hates her middle
Okay.
name. By the laugh on that laugh, she's like,
Give me the
ugh.
initial. Do you know?
D.
D. Okay.
Diana?
SDK.
No, yeah,
Danielle.
Sounds like a skater shoe.
Yeah.
SDK. That does
Skate
sound cool.
Donkey Kong.
It's a new video game that Tony Hawk is working on.
My middle name is Danae, D''Nae.
That's good.
It's
What are you
okay. My
talking
parents
about?
thought that they were making it up, but
Are you
Oh
French?
yeah, but then people, yeah, I get it.
Are you
'Cause I
French
knew
like
that-
Dirte?
no. They really just thought because all the women in my family all have A sounding middle names. So my mom's middle name is K. There's like that kind of stuff.
meh.
So they were like just kind of giving me something unique in the middle.
So
The necklace
Yes.
though. So okay. So here's the deal. 50 Cent is a businessman on top of being a rapperman, and he did this thing for a long time. It was like a competitor with 5 Hour Energy. It was called Street Kings Energy Shots. And
sounds scary.
Well, it was kind of like, it looked like really industrial, and it had like it looked like him. Like it was like very well branded for what he was
Nice.
doing. It didn't sell very well. It wasn't even like number 2 in the energy shot world.
5 Hour Energy.
5 Hour Energy was just gonna.
There's already another one with 5 in the name.
Yeah,
that they
exactly.
couldn't-
So then he kind of branched out. They retooled it to be like a pre-workout gook that you could drink. You could just drink that, and then they even got like famous sports stars to be like kind of endorsing it and kind of be the influencers of
I
things.
think I vaguely.
It was like the first thing that Colin Kaepernick ever did. Like
Okay,
it was
yes.
just,
Now, yeah. Okay, gotcha. He did that. I didn't know that was 50 Cent's thing.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because then they shortened it down from Street Kings to just SK Energy Shots, and they also went into this other brand of like doing like sprayable sunscreen. It's wild, and then they all got like it was all franchised out or like, licensed out with like minions on it and princesses on it and stuff like that.
End up wanting to
I don't even
drink it
understand like
or
what
something.
those. Yeah, exactly.
They're
I
like,
don't-
what? 5 Hour? Let's drink this.
So they had this. This is the most millennial thing I think that's ever happened to me in my entire life. Are you ready? They had a contest to win a job working for the company
Wow.
and being their social media person for a year, and you would make $100,000 for that year.
Wow.
And I had just moved to New York, and I was like, well, that sounds really great. I guess I could enter a contest to win a job. I can do that. That sounds like a thing I could do. And plus, it was called SK, so my whole video for submitting it was like, SK? SK.
Yeah.
I gotta do it. This seems like it just makes the most sense. You gotta have it. And then I got to the finals of the contest for a job, and we had to go to their office in like Midtown. And we were sitting there, and we were supposed to pitch them on what we would do for that year for the social media. And I had this whole rigmarole thing planned out. And then all of a sudden, 50 Cent walks in. Like, he was definitely going to be a planned part of the day.
Yeah.
And he kissed me on the cheek.
Yes.
And he, yeah. And then
Like
he
off
walked
the
around.
bat? It
Yeah,
was
right. He
just
like walked. But you know, when you're that famous and people are kind of just leading you around, you have no idea where you're going or what you're doing. And so I'm sure he just walked in and was like, I guess I'll smile a lot and shake a lot of hands.
Yeah.
And then
kiss
I'm out of
everybody.
here. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Kiss all the ladies on the cheek and then have it be whatever. So he sat there, and they had to be like, Curtis, because his name's Curtis.
Good old
Call him
Curtis.
They were like, Curtis, all these people here want to do your social media. What is it that you think would be good social media for SK Energy Shots? And he thought about it for a second, and then he went, you know, on Instagram right now, there's a lot of girls wearing yoga pants. And I think we could maybe just give a lot of the product to these girls wearing yoga pants, and they could just like have it in the shot while they're wearing yoga pants. And I was like looking over my whole portfolio, and I was like, I did not have girls in yoga pants anywhere in here. Like, it was not a thing.
The yoga pant.
But then they gave us a whole bunch of extra swag and stuff
that's
too,
hilarious.
and then they took us to a really fancy dinner, and that was. And then I did not get the job.
Oh, what? How many people were a part of this?
It was like 5 groups, because it was like 3 individuals and then 2 representatives from 2 little like itty bitty, like
and
social media.
he was hanging out the whole
agencies.
time.
No, he only came for that one little spot.
That's awesome.
Said the yoga pants thing, and then pieced right on
dig
out.
that.
And then we were like, okay,
like, all right.
thanks for
Curtis.
the kiss.
That's hilarious. Great story. Thanks for bringing that.
Yeah, of course. And my old roommate Brett, he made me promise him that I'd wear it every New Year's.
I was gonna ask, do you wear it?
So wait a minute.
Do you wear it?
Did he bring that to you, or was it just given out to everybody who?
I was the only one that got a medallion. So that
though?
was like, well, they did.
got to
I mean,
choose?
so right before he left, they had this big swag closet where they were going to give us a whole bunch of stuff, and then they only wanted us to have the new branded stuff. So it was all like white and like crisp lines and stuff like that. And then this was like in the very, very back, and I was like, please, can I have that? Please.
So, wow, that's cool.
50 Cent. SK.
I thought it was made for you.
No, I mean, it still says like Street King on the back of it too. Like, it really is. I mean, it's.
Street Kings. It doesn't exist anymore, that brand?
You could still get. I think you can still get SK Energy Shots. They just won't.
At the bodegas somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
5 years old.
I got so many. Because at the end, I was like, hey, even if you guys don't give me this job, like, let me just give out your product at shows. It's like the easiest way for me to have some merch that will help people remember me. And also, and they gave me boxes and boxes of SK Energy Shots that I proceeded to abuse like Jesse Spano.
Oh my gosh, yes, that's the best episode.
You were like a high school kid with Adderall.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I mean, I was doing like yeah,
I
exactly.
just can't hide it. Sorry, I was Saved by the Bell.
And then it gave me like a month-long migraine, and I had to stop.
good.
So
Oh man, yeah, the caffeine and the migraines can't do it today. I was starting to get like, I was like, too much caffeine on this drive back from El Paso. So I brought the show and tell thing. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's just portable. But I also was looking around. I was like, what's something like I would never get rid of? It's a weird one. So, okay. For the viewers, it's like a kid mitten, like a baby mitten that they put on so that they don't scratch their faces, basically, which kind of makes what's inside weirder in a way. Okay, so it's, yeah, I know. Okay, this is, you're like, what is this? I think it's herbs. I honestly don't know what it is, but it's in a plastic bag. It's been in here. I've got this at like when I was 12, and it's this mush up thing. It smells weirdly good. So my Thea, well, not Thea, but it was like my mom's cousin in California. We used to go visit her in the summers in Santa Barbara, and very Catholic, but like a weird, like superstitious sort of Catholic that doesn't go to church, but just like prays a lot. It has a bunch of candles, and like you can't sweep after like 7 p.m. or else like the demons will come up through the floor and get you.
That's right.
Or, you know, just normal things.
What we all believe.
Real normal things. Yeah. And she, for a couple summers had a curandera living in her garage, like turned it in. Yeah. Like I don't want to say witch doctor. I mean,
Like a curandera,
yeah,
like for real.
like a healer, kind of, sort of. So every time when we got there, we wouldn't even say hi to people. They'd like shuffle us into the garage to get like blessed for being there and safe in travels. And then when we left, he would also bless us. So one time, the last time I saw him, he gave me this weird little pouch of things, and he was like, "Keep this with you always for safety." And I don't know how much I believe in that stuff, but I'm keeping it with me
For safety.
forever. I've had this probably since I was 12, and I'm 35 now, and I've lost a lot of things in my life, but I still have this. Again, I don't know. I had somebody break up with me because they thought I was a witch. I'm not a witch. I don't know. I don't want to test it. I want to test the. I don't want to like. It's like going to New Orleans and like messing with some voodoo stuff or like what. I'm like, I don't want to mess with that. So I keep this.
Good for you.
I also brought a hippo.
Oh, cute.
Just because I like hippos. This little mini like wooden hippo. Sorry, more on that later. Anyway, show and tells are fun. But yeah, I just liked them when I was a kid. That was like my favorite part of class. I just like learning about
time?
people. Yeah, hippo time. But show and tell time and nap time.
Oh.
But just people showing things about themselves, and kind of this podcast is a little bit of like, I don't know, digging into people a little, because we know each other, but not as well. Like I've found out what your fear is. I learned your 50 Cent story. I would also like to ask you though, and moving on about things is, okay, so you seem like a very even keeled person. This is just like temper wise, like very even temper for the most part. How do you do that? Or do you ever get mad?
Yeah, I mean, I get mad a lot, actually. But I get these things, and I'm sure everybody's had them experiences before. I get anger chills, and that's how I know. Like, sometimes
I call it the tingle.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that one feeling where it's like, whoop, and then it's like
cold sweat almost.
Zoop,
like,
yeah. And so I just,
cold sweats.
Yeah, anger chills is like the first thing, and then it usually means that I need to shut up. Like that's usually like the second I get angry, beautiful. I just get like
the fact that you know that is amazing, because so many people don't really, even myself. It takes a lot to get me upset, but I mean, even last week I had a spat with a friend that like I feel like I should have taken back immediately or not said anything, or just like, again, being quiet. And I think I was just really frustrated, and so trying to learn more about ourselves and our triggers, I hate that word, whatever, but even just the first signs of like anger, fear, whatever it is usually in your body before it even like hits your brain, really. So the fact that, you're like, I get the chills, and I get like cold sweats and start like, I don't know, getting hot and red.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
so you just like separate then from the situation, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it almost becomes like I am present. I'm definitely listening. Oh, am I listening? But then it's just like I'm inaccessible. Like you're not gonna get it out of me. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. But I will say, I mean, this is so interesting I'm saying this, because that's like true anger. Like when I'm truly angry, that's how I show up.
Right.
If I need to, if like, because like when you're in any relationship, you get in like, you bicker, and so like I won't do that for that kind of stuff, because I'm not actually angry. I'm trying to work on communication and do some stuff and talk about emotions and that kind of stuff. So that shows up a little differently. And I will say, there was one time we used to have an open mic at, well, it's now Red Door downtown, but it used to be called the Blackbird Buvette.
Oh yeah.
And it was awesome. And one time this boy was on stage, his name is Nicholas, and he was performing, and this one guy was like heckling him, but not like from his seat. Like he was doing it from his seat at first, and then he like got up and then like went up to the stage to like just heckle, like not even like really be aggressive either, just like get in his face and just like yell things at him. And he was big. He was like, he was like Foghorn Leghorn size.
Yes.
Like I remember that very, very vividly. It's just him being like so big. And so then, but I like, something came over me where I just like went over, because I was the host. And so like I went over and I was like, no, you don't do that here. You need to get out of here. And but like I was just like,
like not now, brother. It just like came out.
He could have just like clunked like that, and it would have been it for me. But he just was like, "Go, lady," and then he like left, and I was like,
"Most dudes won't fight
keep
that
telling
much
your
for
jokes,
lady."
Nicholas. Yeah.
Do you feel like you fight? I personally will like fight for other people more than fight for myself, and that's a big issue. Is like I will be a doormat, like if it's just me. But if somebody like messes with family or friends, then I'm like, no. Or like in that situation, I'd be like, no, not at my mic, not for this Nicholas.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Like it's always like that. So it's like, I mean, I can pretty much de-escalate things. Like, I mean, when I worked at the Apple Store, that's like all I did all day was I worked at the Genius Bar, and they would just be pissed about their phones, and I would be like, even more than the phone, it didn't matter. It was about making them like go from angry to happy in 15 minutes. And so like, I'd be like pressing buttons and doing a couple things and usually turning it off and back on again or whatever. And then, that's all it is.
It really is.
Unless you break your screen and then we fix your screen. Like that's really all it really needs to be. And so you'd be doing that, but then the whole time it's like this little play that I'm like putting on, like, or improv that I'm doing with somebody who doesn't know they're doing improv with me.
Yes. Customer service is such like, it's a performance of sorts.
Thank goodness you brought this in, Michael. You knew exactly what was going on with you. Absolutely. All right. Yeah, exactly. And like,
I live to be here.
Here you go. Come back anytime. Like that. Everything about it was just like that. And so, but I can do that interpersonally too when it's needed.
Right. Yeah. Turn on and off when you can things. And I think a lot of people, like I myself everywhere, whatever, but even in certain situations, you have to turn on different parts of yourself. Even going on stage, for comedy is like, you could be super quiet right before and seem like down or whatever, and you go on and you turn it on. But same, even we've seen family members, or it's like, I love them, I'm myself around them, but I'm probably like keeping things, in the Pandora's box a little bit that they don't need to like know about. So it's like I said, my dad, he skimmed through my first podcast just based on like certain things. And that was not even that bad, but but yeah, turning it on and off for like certain things is important. I had
it's just different tools in your toolbox,
taking a tangent here, but I had I went yesterday to so we were going to do live yesterday, but my aunt passed away. So rest in peace to my aunt. And so I was in El Paso for the funeral and came back today. But Wednesday, so Catholics, if you guys don't know, Catholics, as my family is, they have a rosary, what's the wake? Wake is like a viewing too, right? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a viewing.
Sorry, death is weird, guys. Whatever. We're talking about death. Yeah. It's fine. And so they have the viewing. So we have a viewing, and then we have
the wake, the reception. Oh no, the wake, the funeral, then like a party afterwards.
Yeah, so we do that, but we like instead like the wake is called the rosary. So we like pray the rosary a lot. Which this one we didn't too much of the bead praying because the dude who was like conducting it took it away in this whole other different way that I was having to I was crying at one part, being sad, and then he would just do ridiculous things like start singing like Ave Maria.
Oh, sure.
He did 5 songs in between all these things, 5, and he was not a good singer.
Now that's what I call funeral.
It was like ridiculous. At first he was like, okay, but I'm going to sing songs in between the mysteries. I'm like, the mysteries? What's happening? We're only doing 3 mysteries today so the family can talk. And
what is happening?
It was like, and then what's the first song?
Who was the guy?
He was just like whoever runs a funeral home, basically. Okay. And like they do these, like he wasn't like a priest or anything, but he runs the funeral home. And what was the first song he sang? It was ridiculous. It was a country song, and I was like, was my Thea into country? No. And I'm thinking it's like, oh yeah, the first one, because he had the track playing, and then he had the lyrics were all there, the actual singer was there, but he would sing over, and it was I can only imagine that song. But he was singing I can only imagine the whole time.
Oh no.
And he did 5 of these songs in between all the mysteries, and then my uncle, who can actually play and guitar and sing, he only got to do 1 song, and I was like, why is he? So this guy is singing that, and we had all been crying, words and things, and then I'm like buckled over in my seat with my head down because I'm trying so hard not to laugh that it's hurting physically. Like my body is like, I started shaking, like in my stomach. I didn't notice everybody else was in the same boat, and I'm glad they were, because afterwards my whole family was like, oh my stepmom was like, I was shaking. I was like trying not to laugh. And she was like, yeah, I didn't know you could be out of key in 2 languages. Cause then he was like, Ave Maria. And now when I snorted laughing and then disguised it with sniffles, I was just like, I'm sniffling. So I was like, and I was like wiping tears sort of, whatever. And then luckily it was a mask. We had to wear masks the whole thing. So luckily everybody's like, oh my God, I'm so happy for the mask. Cause underneath we were all just like, trying so hard not to laugh. And then he goes on this tangent. He's like, oh yeah. He goes a list of things. Oh, I asked the family if she had hobbies. They said no. I asked her if she liked sports. She said the Cowboys. And then he's like, here's a cartoon from the newspaper this week about the Cowboys and Jerry Jones and something. I'm like, this has nothing to do with this. And then he's like, yeah, I heard she was a religious woman. I once tried to go to the Vatican with my choir, but we spent $50,000 on travel and things. And then it got canceled. So we were out and we were in debt. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, this has gone so out of... And then meanwhile, my cousin, like my aunt's daughter's there going like, keep it short. And he's like not reading. And he goes back to all his songs in Spanish. So it was a roller coaster, but it was one of those moments where I was like, this is just pure comedy. Because sometimes in those hard moments, it's like comedy is there to save you. I was even like writing jokes so that I wasn't telling my sister things, because my sister was next to me and I wanted so badly to be like, hey, have you picked your karaoke song yet? Like... because I thought we were all going to go sing karaoke. I just felt like he held us hostage and did really bad karaoke for us. But, we were all laughing afterwards, which was nice. But luckily the funeral part was all nice. And, they told the priest to keep it short or whatever. But, man, that was a roller coaster. I've never laughed and cried that hard in my life. It was, so yeah, thanks for the entertainment. It was an entertaining thing. But then yesterday, I stayed a little longer because we had my cousin Rosie's house. We had a get together and the guitars came out and, had a couple of drinks. I was like, I should probably just stay and not drive 4 hours. So yeah, they literally drove in. Larry didn't know this. I drove in and got here about 3:30 today.
Oh, you just got here?
Yeah, I got here 3:30, showered, got dressed, went and picked up Sarah and came here. I was like, so we're doing it, people. We're doing it. But yeah, sorry, that was my fun story about funerals.
That's wild.
Send me fun funeral stories, guys. That's great. Send me all your fun funeral stories. I want to hear those. What else are we doing?
Is your family really into karaoke? Because you're so good at it.
Oh, they're not karaoke so much, but we all are musical. We actually this past weekend they had a get together. We do every year a concert at my uncle's backyard. We have food, like alcohol, and a stage and lightings and everything. And all my family plays either an instrument or they sing or they do both. So we'll mix it up. I'll play with my nieces or my uncle or my cousins or my dad will play harmonica with me on a song. And so yeah, last night we were doing that. But I do I was never a karaoke person until literally like this last month at the Sidewinders. I've done karaoke maybe a couple times. But I don't know. I'm always get too nervous for it. And I don't know why. I get more nervous about karaoke than doing comedy.
Interesting. That's
and I don't know why. And people are like, that's ridiculous. I'm like, yeah. But going and doing, so Sarah does Sidewinders on Wednesday. She does an open mic / karaoke night. And it's 9 p.m. You can sign up whenever you show up, basically, right? Yeah. It's such fun times. I've been going every week. And then Thursday they have one as well, open mic / karaoke. So working on my singing chops, I guess.
You're a great singer,
I don't know. I
actually.
appreciate you are too. Both you and Kelly can sing. Sarah's engaged.
I am
to
engaged.
Lovely Kelly.
Yeah.
And yeah, both of you are super talented in that way.
We went to karaoke on our second date.
No way. What did you sing? What was your first song? Do you remember?
Well, okay, so yes, because I usually would always start with the same couple songs during that time. But also, the nice thing was our second date was a surprise to me. Because I planned our first date, and then she planned our second date.
Cute.
And we went to this place called Chelsea Pier that has Top Golf kind of stuff in it.
Okay,
and
yeah.
So we walked around with the High Line and all that stuff, and then we went and got pizza, and then we went and did karaoke. It's still one of my absolute favorite places to do karaoke, which is this place called Sing Sing on Avenue A. It's really, you could get private rooms in it, which is super awesome.
Nice.
So you could be
Japanese style one.
Yeah.
I've been in Japan,
but yeah, you can be
movies.
with everybody and sing with everybody, and that's fun too.
rad.
But then as soon as you guys, if you feel it's too busy and you're not getting enough time, then everybody can chip in and you can go get your own room. The best. And we didn't have to do that night. But not only that, the best part about their second date was that not only did we go to karaoke, not only did we get to sing amazing songs, and I got to hear her sing for the first time at Sing Sing.
At Sing 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 Sing.
And I was just like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. And then there was this guy there who was so drunk and not a good singer, and he kept coming up to us and being like, would you help me with this song and sing with me? Just because he wanted to sing, but he was embarrassed about it. And so we helped him and sang with him and did Brooks and Dunn, but then also Jessie J and Ariana Grande and all this kind of stuff. So we songs that we never normally would have picked, we got to do together to help that guy out. And so it was just a really cool memory of a moment. And it was really, yeah.
And it's always cute when you see somebody you're interested in, they're like, I can sing or something. It's so cliche, but what is it about that? It's this thing where you're like, oh, he plays guitar. Cute. You won't even be that into them. And then you're like, oh, they have this weird little skill.
Angel?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know, I was going to say.
No. I forgot about it. To be fair, I was doing this list on stage recently of the people I dated that I needed to stop dating. It's I've dated 6 drug dealers, I've dated a bunch of metalheads and emo kids, a couple of comedians, and 2 magicians, and
You did it 2 magicians?
Yeah, and Angel is pretty much all of those. He's even a magician. I'm you're not my first magician.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, the last
you're not my first magician, and you're not going to be my last. So
last magician I dated, the last time we had sex was during The Illusionist, the movie.
Oh, the movie.
Yeah, he put it on VHS on the thing, and I don't know. I just remember that
VHS.
Yeah, he still has VHS.
Pre-90s?
No, this was 3 years ago. He just still has that
God.
sort of stuff. Maybe it was a DVD, but I know he had VHSs.
I bet you it's some hipster guy.
Yeah, well, he's old school because he was also I shouldn't be saying this, my brother-in-law's best friend. Anyway, lives in Tucson, but he also he rode a motorcycle, so it's cool. But then he was a Rubik's Cube master, and you're
oh,
and then you're he's also plays pool, shooting
sure.
pool. He's
is he one of the ones that brings his own?
Yeah. He was in leagues, and I would play pool with him all the time because I'm fairly okay at it. And then, but then he has a really small dog that he takes with him everywhere, and he's more obsessed with that dog than anything in the world. And so there's all these things that are that's really, and then he was a magician, but then but then he sings really well, and he's a good artist. I was like, this is all conflicting, but it's cute. Stuff. But then it's still on paper. It doesn't always work. You know, like things on paper don't always work. Just like you'd be like, yeah, it's like a peacock thing, and then you like get with them, and you're like, yeah, we're not compatible. Just on paper, I liked who you were, and I just will continue to like who you are from afar as a friend.
You're really dazzling.
Yeah, you're dazzling as a person. Just know that I just don't want to be with you.
Sure.
But oh yeah, you're right. Angel's a very good guitar player. Shout out to Muse Me TV. Watch it. Or whatever.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. Yeah, I need to branch out into the world. I'm trying like not to really date right now, and I need dating advice from you.
Sure.
Because you're engaged. I'm really bad at it, and I was like, I need to stop dating. But then I was like, well, what is that doing? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Things usually end badly. So it's like, if I just like, accept the worst thing, then it's like, all right, then I can jump in. You know what I mean? I'm always a person that's like, I will think of the worst things possible that happen, and then like maybe hope for the best, but like not be surprised when it goes wrong. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. So if as long as I do that, maybe I won't get hurt.
No, that's not. You really can't. You can't do that. That's not gonna work.
Is that bad? Should I be looking forward to things and being happy?
It's nice to engage. You know, I think honestly, I think sometimes the best thing you could ever do is just take away the stakes of it. Do you know what I mean? Like I knew. Well, number one, I knew I was gonna get married to Kelly 20 minutes into meeting her. But even still, I went into that date just being like, this doesn't have to be like the be all and end all. This doesn't have to be anything that's whatever. It's just hanging out with somebody.
Yes,
and
I need to do that.
Then you just kind of hopefully keep hanging out with them, you know, and then, but it doesn't have to be like, until all of a sudden it is. Like now Kelly and I have very serious talks about very serious things, you know, and, but you can't have that expectation from somebody the first time you meet them.
Think you hit my issue on the head, because a lot of times with anything else, it's like I want to throw out everything that's like bad first.
Get it? Yeah.
It's like, let's just get everything awful about us out of the way, so then, you know, if you accept me then, because then I'm always afraid, like, what if they'll like me and then later they'll like find that one little thing, so let's just throw it out on the table now. But like you said, that's a little too much. Like you got to grow to that, right? Like,
right. And I mean, you've had lots of other not first dates, so you get past level 1 or whatever.
Yeah. I like get codependent in the way that not codependent that I need them, but I feel like everything I do is like, oh my gosh, I have to make them happy. So what are my actions? Like all my actions have to be in order to make them happy. And if I'm not making them happy, then what? You know, it's like less about my happiness and more about like they need me to like, yeah. Like I said, like I'm accommodating to a fault, and that gets like annoying, I think.
But I think the thing that you said that you're just afraid of, you're setting yourself to actually run into that reality a lot more when you do that, because their only experience of you is what you're creating for them. Yeah. And they want to be like partners with you. So then if the only thing they know about you is you making this like Disneyland around them for them, then the second you're too tired, or the second that something gets hard and they don't have that, and they think that that's normal and that you weren't doing anything, then they're confused and they don't know, you know what I mean? And so you have to,
why is it all the time, or why is it, yeah,
exactly. It becomes an expectation,
and becomes tiring on the person doing it. Like it's draining.
Exactly.
Like, so I have to be on all the time and do it for you. You're right. Yeah, I like that. Oh, it's great advice from Sarah. I knew I'd selfishly, like I said, I brought Sarah on for like comedy advice, podcast advice, life advice, dating advice. Just kidding. You're only like 1 year older than me, and I'm just like, Sarah's got it figured out, guys. I tried many times, and I'm just like wading in the water right now a little bit, just, you know, getting my energy back for life. No, but dating, I just need to get around like more non-comedians.
Yeah, I mean, I've dated comedians before, though. They're fine.
See, okay, this is what I'm asking. Should I be like, no comedians ever? Or is it just like the person? We're just people. Because then if I'm saying that, then I'm saying, like, don't date me to anyone. Because I'm a comedian, you know?
I mean, that's an important thing to point out. So, like, but also, like, yeah, some of the best couples I know, some of the best marriages I know are two comedians who met doing comedy and are married now. Like, it's not off the table.
We watched, like, Your Mom's House. We watched that, too. And, like, Tom Segura and Christina P. I love them. Yeah, but yeah, it can work. It can work. I think I think a big thing though too, and I know Kelly's talked about this and going to like, she won't go to roasts of yours at all.
No.
Because it just hurts her too much.
She gets like so upset.
Yeah.
Like, she can't handle it. And then she gets mad because she knows that I write jokes for roasts. I'm actually 3 for 4 for every roast I've ever done. I win the battles most of the time, except for this one that was like devastating because the person was so mean. And then like,
I've never seen it be
I like couldn't. It was like literally being in a boxing match. Like I was a moment where I literally was like,
your eyes are glazing over.
these jokes are really hitting hard. Like, I couldn't. It was time for me to tell my jokes, and I was like,
How far were you into comedy when that happened?
well, I mean, it happened like 3 or 4 years ago. So it's like,
wow, it was here?
yeah, but it was in New York. But like we used to do roasts down here, but not as battles. They were just like a fun thing for when somebody moved away or like for their birthday and stuff. Like it was a thing, the way that roasts were historically, where it was like this: you roast the people you love and you give each other shit.
See, I like that better than somebody I don't know. That's harder. It feels more
like, what are you?
Yeah.
Let's get at the worst little chunks of you, and then it's like, oh God, like God.
And how do you feel after? I've never done like a roast battle. Well, Buck D and I kind of turned like the UCF into a roast against each other.
He said you're the only one that's ever
beat him at that. It was like and weirdly,
good for you.
Yeah, he was.
That weirdly though was.
And he's quick.
And
he's really quick.
I was like new just going in. I was like, I'm not gonna put that many expectations. I didn't even know if I'd make it past the first round. I was only 2.5 months into comedy, I think, and I saw Buck D on the thing. I was like, oh, I already know maybe I'll win the first round, but I didn't. I was gonna go out there and do my best, but I wasn't expecting to beat Buck D at all. And then even afterwards, like that was one thing that I think made dudes like pay attention in the scene.
Yeah,
a lot of dudes were like, oh, I've literally had a handful of guys be like, yeah, you I never really paid attention to what you said. I was just like, oh, a hot girl doing comedy until you beat Buck D at that thing. And then I was like, oh, she's actually really funny. I'm like, oh, so Buck D in a couple of ways. He's helped me.
Thanks,
like, stole your producer. I beat you to get some recognition. Thank you. Watch the BS Show podcast, by the way. Yeah, anyway, but the roast thing, it seems harder, but you are like the nicest, whatever. I can't see you. I would like to see you at a roast because I can't imagine you being roasty.
Have you ever met Mikey Mays? He was from here and he moved to New York too. And he, me and him battled at, it's like Comedy Fight Club is what it was called. And I beat him but like, it was close. It was like, there was like a thing where they were like, you're both bad. We were like, acknowledged. And then I had like one zinger of a joke at the end or whatever. But like, yeah, it's usually, unless it's like, I learned by doing those roast battles that like, you really do have to be very, very mean. But if it was like a roast for our friends, I used to make it like be about the person in the premise. And then the punchline would be about like, a famous person or a reference to something or like whatever, so that I'm not hurting the person I'm talking to. I'm like talking about something that's exactly. Yeah, exactly. Those. Yeah, dry roast.
Dry roast.
Yeah. So
yeah, some of the comedians here, I felt like when they started roasting me, I was like accepted. I'm like, I'm one of you. Yeah, like, because it does kind of makes you. But we do
like Tyler is really good at like he'll even like at an open mic, he'll just get up and be like, this guy looks like this. This guy looks like this. This guy, and it's
so
like
quick,
great,
dude. Yeah,
it's so good.
And that's why it makes him a really good host. And like out of the blue, just during COVID, Tyler Lovely, look him up. He's a comedian here in town, but he is more of a host. I mean, he does great sets, but a host, he's just so quick. He'll like already come up with like a whole minute on what the last person said and the audience and like somebody will say something. He's just So I like working, but we do also do for our friends when our birthdays happen. We've been doing roasts for each other, just like a little group of us, which is fun.
Yeah,
I like that. Got to roast Troy, which was
that's fun.
I went hard on that one.
Sure,
that was a good one. But yeah, I don't know. Are we doing only an hour today, or what are we doing? Sorry, we're just time checking here.
No, just keep going.
Okay, she did 5. She's just doing 5. Okay, she's just Patty gives me the warning on an hour. And I'm like, I'm down to some time.
That's great.
Cool. I was like, I like the comedy talks with you. So you've been back 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's very hard to tell. Like, are we going to count 2020 as a year, or are we no longer counting that?
I'm like excluding.
I did stuff. We made a movie.
Yeah, we did. Oh, so, we still haven't even talked about that. Yeah, we were. COVID was. Real quick though, I will say I only really was out of comedy March, April, May, June, July. We came back for like half a month, and then we were down, and then we came back like September. So yeah, 5-6 months I think I was down, because then we also were doing garage comedy. Yeah. But yeah, then we did the film out of nowhere. I had known Sarah at the mics, or I'd seen you a little bit. And you guys were always so nice to me. Because I had started in November of 19. So I only had like 4.5 to 5 months in before it like shut down. And I would go to your mic at Side Effects, and you guys were nice. And then out of the blue in June or July, you just hit me up. And
Yeah, Kelly and I were like going out of our brains, and we do projects together, but we don't ever write together because she's a novelist, so she like writes horror stories and stuff like that, and then I write jokes. But then we were like, well, why don't we just write something together, and let's make it to where we could film it safely. Like, let's make like a screenplay, like a short film. Mm-hmm. We'll make it to where we don't need more than 5 people to make this happen. And at the time, because I know Barney, and Barney was managing and doing like all the private band concerts that they were streaming in Launchpad and like all up and down that little part of Central. So Kelly and I were like, let's write something that can be filmed in Launchpad because we know that we can have access to it. And so we wrote this entire script about these 2 friends talking about a bartender inside that they thought were cute. Oh, and also the whole reason why we wrote it in the first place was because there was a local like LGBT film festival that had no local people that were submitting.
The Way Out West Film Festival.
And they were like, we need local people to be part of this. And so then Kelly and I were like, I bet we could make a movie in 3 weeks. That seems no problem. Why not? So we wrote it, and that was like the whole premise of the first one. Then Barney was like, I have bands every single day, and you can't have access to the Launchpad. And so then Kelly and I were like, okay. So then let's plan it it could be here at the house. And so then we wrote an entire different script, and we wanted it to be local everything. And just the 5 of us with our couple of film friends who hadn't been able to do any work. Kind of the way that they did like Dr. Horrible or like that stuff during the writers' strike or that kind of thing. So
I forgot about Dr. Horrible. Yes.
Which makes me so mad at Joss Whedon. Anyway, so for being such a creep. So we wrote the whole thing. And then we wanted it to be. Joss Whedon is a creep. Is he he's a creep.
Yeah, I've heard.
But I didn't know it was okay. Cool.
It's bad.
And
he's only gotten worse. Like there's all these stories now about him doing like all the Justice League.
Do you know him?
No,
he was on
Joss
SNL
Whedon
for a minute.
Right? Joss Whedon was the guy who made Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I'm thinking of a different. I was thinking of.
He is a creep, dude.
Yeah.
Big
No, I don't know that one. I was thinking of the guy from SNL that has a name similar.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
That what used to be on there. Anyway,
I think that guy's fine. Guy's fine.
He's fine. So I was like, I know what?
Let it all be known that it's the guy who made Buffy who's a complete creep. Anyway, so yeah. I just want to make sure it wasn't. That they were not having the exact same confusion about the guy from SNL who's fine. So we got that all set, and then I wanted it to be you for sure. But then there was another girl comedian who was queer identified here in town, and so she was also going to be in it, and then she ended up like dropping out the day of, and we were like, God, because I didn't want to act in it. I don't really think that I'm a good actor. I don't like acting very much, but it was like, okay, well, we're gonna get a chance to like do this, and we'll make it quick, and actually it makes it even safer because we're down one person.
People. Yeah, it was only 5 of us at that point.
Yeah, and so then we just did it on our porch, and then we had like one other spot we had to go to in Civic Plaza for one other little part of it, and we got it done within 5 hours. I think we had breakfast, we had lunch, and then we had champagne at the very end of it.
Yep. You had a whole spread. It was amazing. They're like, we got bagels, we got this, we got coffee, we got all the things, and pizza, and champagne. Because, we took a pizza break.
Yeah, we took a pizza break.
So, 5 hours, we got all of that done. It was so much fun. And then you guys entered it also, so Way Out West, but also the Atlanta Film Festival, right?
It was like the Atlanta Comedy Festival that was half film and half like stand-up comedy, which they had to completely make digital.
Oh.
So even the stand-up comedians submitted tapes of them just performing in the before times, and they would just show them on the internet kind of willy-nilly.
Oh, what do you mean the before? Oh, I see.
Before kind of it, yeah.
And so then we got into that one, and then we won our category, which was Best Mockumentary.
Yeah.
Which was awesome, like to win an award. Yeah. And then,
that was so rad.
And then we got into a festival in Queens, and we got into...
You know if I knew about that one.
Yeah, when you make it, like when we did me and Patty have done a couple 48-hour film.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's coming up, too.
Yeah, I've done, I think we've done 2 or 3, right?
Yeah, so awesome.
Yeah.
And you guys have all the stuff. You can
yeah.
That makes
I've
it
got
so much easier.
But before we did, we actually fucking rented it from...
like, what, Field and Frame?
Field and Frame, yes. And it was fun. We had a lot of fun, and then what you do is you can... upload your video to different film festivals around the country. We did that stuff, but we didn't win shit. Like,
Oh, that's awesome. You've done
It's
it
fun.
before. Are you gonna do it this year?
probably not.
I think my cousin's
It depends on because they have a theme
boyfriend does it.
every
Yeah.
time, and we did the sci-fi one. What was the other two or one?
Oh yeah, my cousin's boyfriend did the sci-fi one. I'm remembering his film name.
I can't remember.
I might
But they
be
were
in
really
that
fun.
one.
They're
I
fun.
love making movies.
I
You gotta
get
have a
sick
good
immediately.
writer.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you don't have a good writer, like we didn't
They're
really
great
have a
writers.
great writer. So, but our production was on point.
Yeah.
It was
Of
the
course,
writing
yeah.
that was just.
There's so many times when
Yeah.
those
Came up
48-hour
with
film
some
projects come
writers.
up. Yeah, they but like the movie doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? Like there's times where they just kind of are like, well, we got to get this shot and we got to make sure that we include this thing or whatever, and then the thing that's final and on the screen, you're like,
Doesn't come together.
what's the
Yeah.
story here? What is like? Yeah.
Well, usually what we would
why
try and
don't
do
they-
is try and re-edit it and make it longer.
Yeah.
Because we'd have extra footage and stuff, and then we'd put it into those film
That's
cuts.
so much smart. That's so smart.
Because
That's such a good idea.
there's like a time limit on the
You got
48.
24 hours, yeah. Or
But
48
no,
hours.
like how long does it have to be or short for the 48
They try
hour?
to keep it like 5 to
20
10 minutes.
Okay,
Or
yeah.
you can go.
You
Gotcha.
can go
and
as
then you
long
can
as
make
you
it
want, but
bigger.
ours was 7 minutes.
Nice. We did what 9.
It ended up being like I think 9-10.
9. Yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty.
A little
Yeah.
over. And then okay, so then did the other festivals.
Yeah, so and then for a while there was like because it's set during COVID and it's very
Yes.
much about COVID and like how these two people who want to be in a band together can't go out and even try because everything's shut down or whatever. And they're also terrible. Yeah, that's a really important part of it too.
Really?
But then there was a point like right around like January, February where people were like, if I see one piece of fiction that is about what we're going through right now, I will flip a table. I
Yeah.
will, nothing will, and so we got rejected by a bunch.
Yeah, even comedians are staying away from
I was gonna
jokes
say
about it, yeah.
I didn't. I think I did maybe 1 or 2 when it first opened, just like a beginning, kind of get the crowd in. But after that, I just felt like I didn't want to.
Everybody wants to
know.
just forget about it.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
want to forget about. They go there to laugh and kind of forget about like real life that's happening. So I didn't want to like be like here's COVID and. There's only so many jokes you can do. I don't know. It became,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, there's so many Trump jokes
but
you can do too.
yeah. I mean,
yeah, and that's
really.
too. I stay away from politics most of the time.
So yeah.
But yeah, so then we had COVID, and Kelly was saying that they wanted us to do another one for something else. I don't know.
Well, because we also submitted it to a TV channel that was gonna
Nice.
maybe like show it as part of their programming, and they didn't accept that because it was during the time where they were like, we don't want COVID stuff right now. But then they were like, anything else you guys want to pitch? Like, if you guys want to make something else and give it to us, we'd be thrilled to have it. So that was really cool.
That's
And
awesome.
then, excuse me, and
Do
then
you guys have it posted anywhere? or-
yeah, it's on
Yeah.
YouTube. And actually, this is the most
Yeah,
exciting part about
that's
this
so
too, is Elizabeth Banks, the actress, has this website that's meant to like help foster women in comedy, and they do all these like calls for different kinds of content or for people to do different things, to teach classes, to do whatever, and they were building this playlist of LGBT stuff for Pride. And we submitted the film for that, and then they got accepted. And not only did they add it to this playlist, they wrote a whole like blog about it on their website, and then they also blew us up on Twitter and Facebook, and it was really
And they even have my like Instagram on there too,
Yeah.
to like connect to that. And I have been getting random likes from across the country. I'm like, is it this? Is it that? Like, I don't know what the thing is. But yeah, so and we're the first video on that like homepage of things, like with the first like short film. I was like, that's rad. And then yeah, you can click to see the bio and all these things. Like, heck yeah. So yes, and then the website is whohaha.com.
Yeah, it is.
So who, haha, WHOHAHA. Try to act it out for you guys.
.com.
.com. I have bad hearing, so I feel like I always have to explain exactly. I'm like, enunciate so everyone can hear.
There was a comic here for a long time, and his comedy is not my brand of comedy, but he also produced a lot of shows here, and he had one joke that would just make me cry giggle. Like, I mean, it was about it's not when I explain it to you, because always this is what it's like when people explain jokes, but like you're gonna be like, whatever. He had this joke, and he talked about how his ex-wife spent more time in his wallet than he got to spend in her hoo-ha. But like the way he would say hoo-ha was like, it just like, got me every single time, and it made me laugh. Like, just like cry, and then trying to be quiet about it because I was like, I don't really want to endorse him, but god dang, that's the funniest joke. Like,
sticks
really
with ya.
got me. And then like the other comedians would start laughing too because they just knew that I was gonna like, and then on the ramp up to the joke, because he would tell it at the exact same time every single time, and I'd just be like
Like me at the rosary, like I can't hold it in. That's amazing. Oh, ha ha ha. So what do you have coming up now? What's going on in your?
Also, okay, so I have to mention something about this podcast and also Buck D's. I went back and rewatched the episode that I was on of Buck D's show.
Schmitty? Yeah, or Smitty.
Yeah, and every time the camera would cut to me, I would have like a White Claw in my face. And so I'm trying
Right now you're like waiting not
I've
to.
been really distracted this time, being like, okay.
And when I got like the most annoyingly large.
On that show, I like to catch how much people are drinking.
Sure.
Yeah, you
It's good.
because there was one too. They're
I
like, do you have two?
I do that deliberately.
Good, yeah.
Because one time you even call out, you're like, you got two? I'm like, yeah, no. Like I brought two. One because, just back up in case. And then today I got the most annoyingly large drink. So like
Is
it's
that
just like
seltzer
covering.
shit?
Yeah. I know that.
I had a White Claw and I don't like them.
This one's.
I'm not a drinker really. So.
Sure.
This one's a different brand, but I don't mind that. My sister drinks them a lot. I know that like you and Kelly have been doing more like less
We're
beer and
trying,
more
yeah.
other things. So I like got these today, which once in a while we'll get these. I'm more of an IPA lady. Like I already told them on the last
Those things are
podcast.
heavy.
I know, and it's bad. So I'm like, I need to drink these, but the flavor's so good of IPAs. I don't know.
They
It's true.
are.
I blame my old roommate because that's all she would keep in the fridge, and then I'd like take a couple of whatever, and then like replace. But then I just end up just drinking IPA and keeping IPA in the
That's
fridge.
what I used to
so.
be. Was a beer snub. Like when I did drink. Like,
Yeah.
And I'll drink any kind of beer, but IPAs, I don't. I just now the flavor of it is like I know it, and other beer doesn't taste like beer because it's not IPA. And
When I was
saw
younger, it was like Pabst and Rainier.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That shit.
All the bad stuff. My family this weekend is all Budweiser. There was a liquor store next to my grandpa's house got an award or like a thing recognition for selling the most Budweiser.
Oh.
And they told my uncle this because he was like, yeah, I think it's because of your family. Like our family has like bought so much Budweiser there that like we don't come in for a 12 pack. We need like 2 30 packs.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not a Budweiser person, but that's what they do. We had like for some reason 4 different ice chests last night full. I don't know. I just kept it was fun. We drink a lot. We're like party nerds though. Like nobody gets like super sloshy or like super wasted, but sitting, talking, having fun, playing music, and drinking till like 6 a.m.
Sure.
Usually the party doesn't stop until the sun makes us stop.
That's like first draft Kesha lyrics.
Yeah. Just writing poetry in my everyday life through my mouth. This mic is nice. I keep it like
I just bought
too
it.
close.
It looks
Is
so
this one?
nice.
I got another.
You got
one
headphones. You got the.
Coming. I got
They're the
another one
best.
coming. Another mic like that.
I feel like
You got another
I'm
mic
not
coming.
worth this. Just kidding. I need to get over that too.
I
Is the
have a lot-
imposter
I have
syndrome.
a lot of mics.
Yeah.
So
We
many.
all. You get a mic. You get a mic. You got a lot of cameras too, and a lot of like screens.
I have
You
a
guys
lot of
can't see, but I could. There's at least like 6 different like screens in my view.
But here's the secret about having a lot of mics and a lot of cameras. You actually have to have a lot of cords. It's just endless cords all the time, all the time.
Cords. Untangling cords.
Is that is
Yeah.
that your fear getting
Different
trapped in
connections.
cords and or them not being perfectly
No,
coiled?
back when I first started doing sound and stuff, it was a lot of cords, but I'm used to it now. Like you learn how to wrap them and all.
Yeah,
that
it's
shit,
like an extension cord or like a guitar cord.
but, yeah. I did the sound at Graham's for a while.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
It was awesome, but it was still like shit.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
Grams.
Do you remember Gramps? It's kind of, honestly,
I've only lived here like 3 years.
oh
to
yeah,
be
I forgot.
fair.
I forget about
It was
that
like
sometimes.
6. Well, it was.
It's kind of like Revel,
1,
but
2,
Oh,
it was
okay,
so. But
gotcha.
it was. I mean, I can't believe that it. I don't know. It should almost have a reboot because they could do it exactly like the way that they've been doing, like Tin Can Alley and all that stuff too, where they just make each of them
right.
their own.
But they what happened? See, I've worked in the club business doing lights and sound and all that stuff for about 23 years. Well, I did, and basically, if a club doesn't like reboot and remodel every 5 years, you're done.
Yeah.
That's
Oh
it.
right.
Like
This is very important.
We
I
were
might
talking
have to
about-
have you on my podcast.
Yeah.
'Cause this
No,
is-
you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were interviewing people and talking about like what it takes to do a club and all the like upkeep, like the
I
constant
used to be
upkeep.
like an assistant, like a unlabeled assistant manager at Graham. So I basically
Oh,
knew that.
nice.
They couldn't fire
Yeah, yeah.
me. I just knew everything about that club.
Yeah, like,
I tell the general
I'm
managers,
king.
to go, suck it. Like, get
Yeah.
away from me, dude.
like, you need me more than I need you.
Yeah. It was fun. You know, but I've done it since I was like, I think I started working at bars when I was 23.
Wow. Yeah. Like I'm obsessed with Bar Rescue. Like I can watch
Yeah.
hours of it.
Yeah, I used to
Didn't they
be.
do one here?
Oh, they
was the
did a
bar
bunch.
here?
They did a
They
whole
did a
like a
bunch,
stretch
yeah.
of them from.
They did one at Sandbar.
Oh, that's the one that I was
That's the
thinking.
one that
Okay,
they
yeah.
made it. Yeah, they did one there. And
They
there was
did a
couple other ones.
VFW up in the South Valley.
Did they work? Were they?
Not the Sandbar
were
one.
they
they
rescued?
closed.
They weren't rescued. They couldn't
I think that.
resuscitate.
I think that.
But his
VFW
science
fine.
is correct. The science is correct. It's up to the bar owners to be able
to keep it up.
keep that up. I mean, it's totally true. Like the amount of shots that you're putting in drinks and shit. Like the liquor costs on some of these bars are just astronomical. Not so much anymore because it's a lot of corporate bullshit. But any kind of private bar, they're heavy hands with the poor, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they don't even use a glass.
Wasting-
They're just like they
They don't
count.
even use a jigger. or
But like
nothing. They're just
everybody's
like,
second
Yeah, like,
is
check
long.
their
Yeah,
watch.
but they'll or they'll do like the
And they
two
don't
count, whatever.
realize-
But everybody's second is a different second. You know,
yeah, and they
what-
don't realize that they're not optimizing the most amount of
The
money
value
out of
per
that
bottle.
Yeah, I mean it's just crazy. I mean we used to go through. Oh Jesus! Like there was one chick that because we had beer tub girls.
Oh
and
yeah,
all
yeah,
they
yeah.
would do is pop beers. We had one girl that did 1,000 beers in one night.
Holy crap!
There'd be 3,000 people in there, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Where was this at? Like where's
Old
it?
Ross. Over
Which
Old
Ross?
San Mateo and Montgomery.
Yeah.
Do you like it? I love it. I got it at Ross. Oh, that Ross. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been a good location around, kind of off the freeway.
That's
a
pretty cool.
little
I mean, now they've got that. They had that Rock and Brews place that was there, and that was.
gone
bit.
too.
Is
I know
that
that's gone too.
Oh, that's
but
gone too.
It's owned
Gene
by,
Simmons
Gene
didn't.
Simmons, yeah.
kick
Ponchos
that
was
up?
over there. That's an
know
Albuquerque
what that
Staples.
is.
I know that was way gone before you.
I'm sort of from around here.
Well, they still got the dirty bourbon. I can't believe.
Oh
that
yeah, I
place.
can't believe
Is that still going?
It's
I
a
thought for sure
DUI
they'd be gone.
factory. I just can't even imagine.
I mean, people here do love their country, which is like weird. Like even all like the I don't know,
you
super
been to-
mix to the max people. That's what we call them, super mix to the max. They're like love the country. Everybody, the hip hoppers, the whoever's.
The Boots and Bourbon that's downtown now. It's great.
You have been?
Yeah, we ran.
Is it all
Kelly
just
and I-
country all night long?
Yeah, and
mean-
sports. They did sports for one time. We went.
Oh,
I'm
my-
Like,
You like
Oh,
country, though.
I
Oh, my two
love country
favorite
music.
I can
things:
totally
country
tell
and sports.
that she loves country.
I have heard you sing karaoke. I like country karaoke, but like country and sports is not two of my favorite like
I'm for the
combinations.
sports. The last time I went by and they were showing mostly sports in there, I was like, well,
Oh, right.
skip that one. But the time I went in, and they do it. They also do it where they're having the videos up the whole time, and I'm like, oh, this is great. Every time you can just be like, Shania Twain, do you know these? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm pop-up video while I'm sitting there watching all these.
It's nice
like-
when they have TVs in bars. That's for sure.
Yeah, you have something to look at unless you're dating a guy who's more into sports than you, and he's like, let's go to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I'll face you towards the wall while I look at the TVs.
You know the
It's a
places
mess.
I hate? The Twin Peaks.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
don't like the Hooters. I don't like the Twin Peaks.
A restaurant.
A
Yeah,
restaurant.
It's ask,
Who else?
like, I've had guys take
Ojos
me to those.
Locos?
I was like, "Are you
Ojos
kidding me?
Locos?
You're really gonna go there, dude? You think these chicks actually?"
Care at all?
Oh yeah,
They're
no.
all-
So
Yeah.
many of my guy friends like, oh, the waitress was nice to me. I'm like, no, like this. They're
No,
again, it's something you have to turn on. It's customer service. That is their job to be nice and somewhat
What do you
like
think her tits are
flirty.
up?
Like
Come on.
yeah, and nothing against the women doing
Yeah,
that
nothing
job.
against
It's
that.
more the dudes who are just like,
The
oh,
creepy ass dudes that are like
yeah,
ogling.
Yeah.
just some
I
penis
mean, I got
thinking.
one buddy who was like, "Why?" I asked him because he's like he's got a lot of money. But I'd asked him like we'd go to lunch and shit. I'd be like, "Come on, man, I don't want to go there, dude.
It's gonna
Like
be
the-
Chang's right next door.
Yeah, let's go somewhere else, man. All right, let's go somewhere." You get off.
I wonder how many interactions he goes. Like, he just always tries to like highball with a Twin Peaks, and then he's like, "Oh, fine, other restaurants exist."
I'd rather go to a strip club than that.
Yeah,
actually
I
the
agree.
same.
I actually really think
Actually
that's
same.
I mean, let's
better.
just go to the strip club.
Yeah.
That
What are we
instead.
going here for?
That would be fun. Yeah, we're trying. I need to talk more with my friend. We're trying to go to the strip club. Like I was
So
saying,
Kelly's
yeah.
never gone to one before,
go film
and
there.
yeah,
We're going.
She's never been at. Wait, Kelly has never been to the strip club.
no,
How old
never.
is she? 12? What's going on here? Like, I mean, even just like hanging out with friends and jokingly going to a strip club. Even my birthday 2 years ago, I got done with the open mic, and then Josh was like, "Let's go to the strip club. I'll buy you a drink." And it was me, him, and Loy Lee. We just had one drink
fun.
at the bar. Like, it was just hanging out, and then we went and then we left. Like, it wasn't like, you know, so
I
Kelly
think
still
the
hasn't
strip
even
club-
done
no,
that.
yeah. And like, I have that joke about how me and my friends, all my girlfriends and I would all go out together
That's fun.
to go and like be extra respectful. Like, that was like the whole reason we would go out there, to just be like,
You were like
how-
the
what do you mean
cheerleaders.
extra
You like went to be
respectful?
cheerleaders for the strippers.
we just made sure to like just tip them a lot and make
Yes.
sure like that we were like,
Oh, we still
thank
do
you.
that.
And I know, yeah, absolutely. But just like that kind of thing. And then also kind of like identifying creepy dudes and like boxing them out and like
Oh,
that,
I
making
love-
sure we were tipping the wait staff a lot and just like everything about it, like,
You're like,
going and giving them a dream day at work. That was always like, we would go and be like, what would be like these girls' dream
Like
day
they're
at work?
homeless girls.
Well, not even like that, because that was another thing too. We weren't going there to like save them. We were just going literally to be like,
Just
what if you just
support.
had like a good day at
Like, you
work?
didn't
What
get
would
any
that-
what- yeah.
dances or anything like that.
we would,
You were like-
yeah,
Okay,
we would.
okay.
We would.
You were
and
like
because that's another thing, too.
bodyguards, and you were like cheerleaders,
Yeah.
and you were like, you know, supportive parents.
How nice. I mean, honestly, it's one of those things too where it's like, you know, sometimes when you're trying to upsell, even at the movie theater, and people just keep saying no, no, no. Like, that
Yeah.
sucks. So like,
Yeah,
if you,
that's
if
a
you,
brutal fucking
Yeah.
way to make a living, dude.
Oh, they do that in
So-
retail, like anything close to the register. They're like, they get more points if they try to sell that, but the person doesn't know. It's just like this.
if a
trick.
stripper's trying to upsell by being like, do you guys want like a dance like this or a dance over there, or like
do you want
whatever,
both
we
nipples
just are like,
out?
we can do that. Like, you know, like, yeah. And so then
Yeah.
they're like, hooray. Like, you know, like they're, it's a dream. That's so like,
Like, we'll pay you. Don't have to touch us.
Yeah,
You can
it's
just come
fine.
talk in the back
Yeah, let's
room with
just
us.
hang out.
Let's just have a conversation in the champagne room right now.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
that's so cute. I love that idea. Like, I want to do that now. Just like, be a bodyguard up there for the strip club. Do you want? Yeah.
Be nice
And
if you
then-
had some money.
yeah, and then like compliment them on their song choice. That's my favorite one
Oh
to do
yeah,
too.
just
It's
cheer
be
for
like,
just
oh,
nice.
this
It's
is
great song.
Rob Zombie is a great song to strip to. Great
Really?
pick. That's awesome. Like, just like being so like
I really like
affirmative,
your
just
shoes
affirming.
tonight.
Yeah.
Great nipples.
Wow, you can do so many tricks on that. That's so amazing. What does it take to learn that? Like, but without having also like dragging them down, because they gotta walk to other people. But
Yeah. It's like great
it's a
glitter.
balance. Like, it's a real balance. But
Great glitter. That will definitely still be on me in a week. Good job. That's expensive glitter.
sharing.
Oh man,
so-
strip clubs are fun. Yeah, so we're gonna do that. I don't know. What other kind of weird ideas can we? Want to
There's so
talk
much
to
stuff to do
people
here.
at funeral homes? Just
Yeah, well,
kidding.
yeah.
Just weird things. Oh, there is no.
kinda
Is
like-
no going on a walk? Sorry, I get distracted. I'm still here with you.
Sweet puppy.
The dog from Never Ending Story is still here.
You guys should go to like a bingo hall, like one of those ones
Bingo.
like in the South Valley where it's just like old people.
Bingo halls are sweet.
And then
I want to be one of those people when I'm older. I would definitely go to bingo hall and I have like a whole table full of it and like all the
with,
fancy.
like the
yeah.
trolls and stuff, like that one episode of
Yeah.
Roseanne where they.
Oh
like,
yeah, they did have a Roseanne. The good Roseanne.
yeah, the good Roseanne.
The OG Roseanne. Oh. Did you watch any of the new sitcom that they tried?
No, I mean it's still on the air.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's just
Just
What's
Whitney
that?
Cummings not part of it
the
anymore. though?
Connors now. That's
Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah,
still
they
on.
changed it because after the whole
the rest of the family.
I think they did.
They
I
still
think they
matter.
did Roseanne dirty.
I
I
don't
love
know.
Roseanne.
I mean, yeah, but I also think
She has mental health issues,
That's
dude.
what I'm
That's
saying.
the
Well,
problem.
that's what I'm saying is I think she is not in a place that she can be doing stuff like that, and nothing against. She just needs the help, you know, and not to be in a situation where it's gonna like. I mean, being on a show acting is one thing, but then having to deal with people
that-
all day long and the stress of it and whatever is already gonna weigh on her more than even
She
just
didn't
like
even
the
know that
acting.
chick was black, so I don't believe any of that crap. I'm
all vague.
I'm always on.
Like,
I'm always on the comedian side.
You know, I was telling Larry earlier about some or Kelly.
She was so mean to one of my other comedian friends though when he was on Last Man
Really?
Standing.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because she was on there. Oh,
Well,
She
it's
was a judge
show.
on it,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
And then
forgot.
he had this bit. It is a really funny
Have
bit
you ever
too.
watched any of her old stand-up?
Oh yes, I love it. I love that
she's
she's from
mean.
Denver and a
She's-
mom.
I
Yeah,
know.
and like, and that's the whole thing. Like when
So
she
it's
got in
like, what'd you
trouble.
expect?
Yeah, when she got in trouble for the national anthem and all that stuff too. Like,
Yeah,
that was,
I
she's
remember.
I didn't
just gonna
understand
be
that.
mean.
Yeah, that's just her.
But I didn't understand that. That was weird. Like,
The national anthem.
made
I mean,
a
I didn't
choice.
understand Fergie
If
singing
you
the
think-
national
let me
anthem
ask you
either.
this.
So
let me ask you this:
singing
if
the
the
national-
same
Yes, that's
thing
the
would have
best.
happened, do you think that
watched that so many times.
it would have been as cancel culture as it was back then?
I
so.
think cancel
Yeah.
culture is such a.
No, I mean, if that
Yeah,
same
If it
thing
happened now, I mean, the
It
national
depends on the
anthem.
intention. Like the intention of
I
it.
think they might have gotten it more in a sense. Like comedy, like is more mainstream now. I think with like social media and other stuff, people think they're funny or whatever,
I don't
even
think
when
they
it's
would've
not.
been
So they would have maybe seen like, oh, she's just messing around doing the national anthem all crazy. Whereas like I would have laughed at that, be
I
like,
think
it's a
people are
comedian.
really mad
They would
still.
maybe be mad, but like I was more mad, like I said, at Fergie singing when she's an actual professional singer.
Yeah, she's
No
God,
offense to her,
that
but like that
such
is
a moment.
the worst. Like
So bad.
you don't got auto-tune right now, girl. Like, keep that for the Black Eyed Peas album. So I guess she's not even part of it anymore.
Just picked a melody and had nothing to do with the song, and she just
So
put
terrible.
words on top of it. It was
Oh, if you guys haven't, can we? We can't play that.
but
yeah, because of the song. Actually, though, I don't even think the internet would pick up what song it is because it's
so
not even.
messed up.
It's not even a.
not even a copyright
Yeah,
hit
no.
because it was just
thrown away. Oh gosh, what are we doing? Okay, so what are you doing? Like show wise, do you have shows coming up?
Yeah, I'm going to New York next week, and so I've got a show
Nice.
at Pete's Candy Store, which is one of my favorite places.
Yeah.
It's in a Dua Lipa music video too, which I was like, what?
No way.
Right there.
Heck yeah.
And so it's called Queendom, and it's run by my friend Bobby, who is so super amazing. And they just made a Queendom book where a bunch of comedians and Kelly wrote essays, and they published it. And it's really great.
Check that out, guys. Queendom. I want to. All right.
And
I'll read
then you know, I did bounce around. I'm doing 2 shows actually on Saturday. I don't know why I'm beating around the bush about this. I'm doing 2 shows with Zach Aveda at this
sweet.
apothecary place in the Plaza in Santa Fe. And so we're doing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about. They do comedy there?
They're gonna.
All right.
Yeah.
Who else is on that show? Just you,
It
Zach?
is me and Zach and Maverick's in town. So Maverick's on the
nice,
show,
nice,
and then
nice.
Cody Dove.
Oh, cool.
Me and Cody get booked together a lot, and I think it's because.
As
Oh,
much
our-
as you and Josh and Zach.
similar.
Well, Josh and Zach get booked together a lot.
yeah, maybe because
I think it's probably there's like a real Midwest vibe
vibe,
to me
yeah.
and Cody. So like I'm sure
I like how
they're
you're not from the Midwest, but you're like,
this-
how
yeah.
does it like that? That way of putting
got
it.
my vibe.
There's a Midwest vibe. to
Cody
it,
and I both wear glasses.
Yeah,
kind of like he's actually so talented.
He is,
But he
he's
does
great.
a very different kind of comedy. He does like improv. He does like 1-to-1 with an audience member improv, which is so impressive and
He's
amazing.
funny. Yeah, Cody Dove's great. Check him out. That show. So you have 2 that night, like
Yeah,
back to back there.
back
Okay, cool.
And
I think those guys are in El Paso right now. My cousin who's in El Paso is going to their show tonight. Maverick and Josh and them. I was
they're
like,
so
support
good
them.
at promo. The guy who's running that show made a really cool video today that was just talking
Really?
about what the lineup was and like talking like directly to the camera, and it had like the graphics like kind of floating on it. And I
Nice.
was like, for a Barsh, that's so nice. Like that's so nice. I
Yeah.
can't even like Canva my way through a flyer sometimes because I'm like, what's it matter?
This guy over here.
Doesn't matter. I just like
Later, I'll let him know one thing. I'm like, hey, this is happening. He's like, cool. And like 2 seconds later, there's a flyer for it. I'm like last time I was like, Sarah Kennedy's definitely gonna be on the show. He's like, flyer, done. Here it is. I was like, oh, okay. I like barely took 2 breaths and you're
That's awesome though.
But yeah,
Well, I
the
didn't want to
flyer.
bother you because you were dealing with all that shit.
Oh no, but yeah, no, that was awesome that you did that without. It was like my hopes and dreams without, and that's Larry's just like the fairy godmother over here, just like boopity booping around. I love it, appreciate. But yeah, shows, and then anything else? We're doing a show together at the end of the month on July 28th, right at Hollow Spirits.
We sure are.
The Women and Whiskey Wednesday. I don't think I say that right because there's so many W's, and I might
I
be
liked
missing
when I
one.
went. I thought it was.
It was great, right?
Cool. That room is cool.
nice.
Yeah, Sarah was on that show with me.
I was shocked because I was like, "Where's the comedy show?" He's like, "Back there."
Same. I
Yeah.
showed up like so confused. I'm like, there's a restaurant, there's bar. Is it in the bathroom? What are we doing?
Out
And
on
then
the patio.
yeah, I was like, are we outside? And then it opens up into this huge,
I
like the
I like
distillery.
the way the back looked.
Yeah,
with the
had-
barrels and everything.
They had all
Gosh,
the
it's
whiskey
so
barrels
cool.
as
I
like the
have one.
backing.
I just didn't like that the lights were going with your words.
Oh, I know the
So,
DJ ones
yeah.
and like the,
I didn't
the-
notice
Like, stop
that.
that.
Oh, I always notice that.
I didn't notice that. I just
I noticed
remember
everything
like,
like that,
I was
like-
so like concentrating on staying in the same square. Because like if you went too far left or right, the mic was going wild. So I was like, stay in your square range. Like,
Oh, the
just-
feedback and shit.
Yeah, all the feedback was like cut out and stuff. But those are great shows.
That's because they have the speakers too close to the front. They need to get
Yeah,
like,
you need
extra
to-
cables and bring them out to the side.
See, that's the way. Yeah.
Yes.
And shout out to A-Marie and all the female comedians here too that we're doing shows together more, supporting each other, guys. Let's
Yeah, it's
do
really
it.
Nice. It is really, really
Support
nice.
the vaginas. Just kidding. I do have a shirt though I'm wearing today. Jess Wood, another female
yeah.
comedian here in town. Her merch is easily dick-stracted.
So she's obviously straight.
Yes. Yes. She was also the first white woman on Def Comedy Jam.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
yeah.
awesome.
She grew up with like Baron Vaughn's like her best
you know
friend.
what?
She grew up with like
That
Patrice.
sounds
Patrice
like-
O'Neill was one of her friends. Eric Andre.
Jess Wood, right?
Yeah, Jess is
okay,
hilarious.
So I ever since I met her at El Rey,
Yeah.
I was like, I know this chick from somewhere,
Yeah.
somewhere, and I couldn't
She's been
place
doing
it.
stuff. She was on Kill Tony too and other stuff.
Yeah, so I've heard of her before, definitely.
she's funny. And a friend who went to
But it
like
took a
one of
long
the
time
shows
for me
there.
to
She's like,
put
I
it
saw her
together.
on Kill Tony. Yeah, once I was like, oh yeah, it's Jess Wood. Yeah, she's rad. She's been in the scene for a while. So like we have like you, A-Marie, and Jess right now who are just like doing things, and Jess wants to, I think, start doing some shows too, like putting on some shows.
But
And
then,
not
like,
that other people
everybody-
aren't doing it, but I'm just like really stoked that it's like the female comedians are like really kind of paving a niche, whatever you call it. That other, I mean, it's not just us; the guys are involved too. But
Yeah.
you guys have a lot of connects right now and have been doing it in bigger cities for longer.
And it's nice to have like Karen Carson.
Yes,
who's
Karen, I
so
love
funny. And then like Mary Bird and Holly Bird. We got a lot of birds. We got like a real flock of birds. And then you know, like
Who are we forgetting?
you know, like Angora too. When she gets back on
Angora's
stage,
on.
she's so funny. And it's just
It's a really good show.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people there, man.
There was
Man.
120 people, and it
That's-
sounds like it was packed in. But the seating's really nice. They have like aisles and things. It looks like somebody's getting married.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like wedding setup, which is cool. A-Marie puts us on. A-Marie Castillo, part-time bro. Shout out to her as well. She has a podcast and things. Just plugging people. Sorry,
It's good. That's what you got to do when you got a platform
I
like
feel
this.
like we're talking so much comedy, which I like. But,
I love it.
Also, I don't want to keep you for forever. How much? We're at an hour and a half. We can also wrap up if we
Let's
need to.
wrap it.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap. So you have those. Any other things you want to like?
No, I mean, I normally my social media handle is so ridiculous to talk about out loud because I picked it based on how it was spelled out.
Your email?
No, it's
Or not email, your webpage, sorry.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Actually, yeah. Just go to my website because then you'll find all my Instagram and Twitter from that. It's sarahkcomedy.com.
Yeah, I checked it out today. It's nice.
That's nice. Yeah. I thought. Yeah, I worked really hard on it.
I like the way you put that you're a writer and all that stuff, so I liked it.
Thank you, and you'll like
Very
it too.
professional.
Go ahead and check it.
Check it out. Anything Sarah Kennedy does, any shows, go to Sidewine there, sing your heart out. If you're bad, she'll sing back up with you.
I help. I try not to help too much because sometimes people are like, "I think I got it," and I'm like,
Listen to Larry too on the BS show
Yeah.
twice a week. Right? Are you guys still doing twice a week? Tuesdays,
We're
Fridays?
doing tomorrow. We do it every once in a while Friday.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning we're doing
Tomorrow morning, listen to BS
I
show.
I loved the Friday morning one where Buck D talked about being on the radio. I thought that was such a cool announcement day, and then plus he was like really like telling some stories like
Nice.
that whole morning, and so like I was just like glued. I was supposed to be working, and then I was just like watching Facebook the whole time, being like, "Whoa, whoa!"
I need to catch up. I didn't watch that one. I was still finishing the one on the right. I was telling you, I was like, I was driving up here finishing the one with that creep dude who's. I laugh so hard.
the thing on his face.
Yeah.
So
Well,
hard.
He had his jaw was wired shut.
Oh, his
Can
jaw
you
was
just-
shut, and he was
Do
singing.
you even have that around? I just want to like hear that again. No, you don't have to play it on this one. You played on the other one, but that made me so happy today. So I like listened to that again on the drive here, and then fast forward to where I had been. Just like I needed the laugh or whatever.
Did you see that Buck got banned?
No.
But at that one, he was on that show, and that cop shut it down.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
What?
yeah,
I've
he
been
got
like
banned.
gone.
Well, he got banned at that show in Lubbock.
Because of why?
Because he was clowning the cops out in the lake.
Are you serious?
Oh, dude, right now
Oh my
on TikTok,
gosh.
my phone will not stop going off because I posted the video on TikTok. We're at like 50K or something.
Oh my gosh. Did he post it on his stuff?
No.
I'm sure I haven't. But he hasn't
I
posted
don't
it on
think
like.
he
I saw it on
posted-
his Facebook, or maybe I saw it.
Oh, it was on his Facebook, but not on TikTok.
No.
Yeah, TikTok's different. The word gets around really quick on TikTok, dude.
Yeah, apparently. Wow. Okay. Well, good job, Buck D. He's great. I enjoy that.
I
man.
told him, I was like, man, this is going to get you some shows, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
real.
sure. Yeah.
For real. Like really, really, really.
Especially
No
a vet- a
publicity is
vet-
bad publicity.
Well, especially a veteran being banned from
Yeah.
the lake. Like,
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Lubbock.
I was more
I
mad.
knew it.
He
Dude, I knew Lubbock's
he
the
told me-
worst.
he was like, oh, it's racist. I was like,
Yeah,
that's not
Lubbock's
even
really
what
bad.
But that's not what even I was thinking. I was thinking more the comedic side. I was like, no fucking banning another comedian? Like they're like stifling another comedian? That's where I was going with it. I didn't
Yeah,
think
you didn't
anything
realize
about
it
the
was
black
yeah.
stuff. Like,
It's
it
Lubbock
was like, oh,
is
yeah,
pretty
it's racist.
Lubbock's pretty fair skinned. Just kidding. Went there for like
I worked out there right when I started comedy for like a whole bunch of because I helped them open the Dion's out there. I used to work for Dion's, and
that's right.
I immediately Googled like, okay, where's the comedy club here? Like, where's the comedy shows here? Whatever. A Toastmaster group, and I was like, okay, well, I can't just barge in on a Toastmaster group. They've been working on things for a long time, and like it's like there was just
I
nothing.
used to take Toastmasters in high school.
Yeah, but it's not a comedy show. Like it's not so.
It's speech writing.
Speech.
which some would argue, and you can tell by the way they perform that that's what comedy is. But so.
It's a funny speech.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I love it. I went to church camp there a couple times.
Yeah.
Because my mom in high school was like, I don't know, I'm feeling like I want to be religious now for the first time in your whole lives.
My mom was like that too.
Go out to, just had like this spat of like religion. And I'm like, it wasn't even like Catholicism. She's like, let's be like, it was maybe Lutheran or something. I don't remember, but I went to Lubbock and it was like, me and my sister were like the only Mexicans there, I think. And I unfortunately fit in.
Everything.
Just like,
Man,
Jehovah. We went through. I was born Catholic. We went Jehovah. Went everything. I don't even want to get into it. It's too long.
sure.
I like used to want to convert to
And
Judaism.
then the end was Buddhism, and then back to spiritualism with crystals.
Just within like growing up in your
Yeah.
house.
No, my mom's all into that stuff, dude. All into the crystals and the vibrations and the chakras and.
You just gotta hope that the Jehovah's Witness phase doesn't happen like
No, she
your
didn't-
birthday or
Jehovah's-
Christmas or like whatever.
The
It's
Jehovah's
like,
Witness
no!
well, was only for like a month or two.
Take away.
When she found out we had to go door to door, she's like, no way, man. We're not going door to door.
We need Christmas and birthdays.
Can't it be like a pampered chef party where they come to me and
Like Tupperware.
just come over here?
Bunko party.
Yeah.
Bunko. Yeah, the crystals and things. I think people think I'm all into that because sometimes I'll be like, yeah, the energies. And I know like your 7 chakras. I know like, I know a lot of like about a lot of random stuff. And then they'll be like, oh, you're like a witchy or two. Like you're so holistic and stuff. I'm like, I mean,
You know what it is? It's
a
not,
pinch of it,
it's,
not
It's
really.
not that there's more of them. It's always been there. It's usually women between the age of like 18
Yeah.
and
Well,
29 that are
craft.
looking
dude,
for
I literally was going to say I blame the craft.
a faith or something.
Yeah,
So.
I blame the craft twice now because witchcraft is back again. And like in fashion
there was
and
a reboot
life
of the
because
craft.
there was a
There was-
reboot of the craft, and I went through that because it came out when I was like in elementary school. I was like in 6th grade when the first craft came out, and did I do some seances and some Bloody Marys in the mirror? For sure. Did I see myself die in a mirror and turn into bones and then into dust? Maybe. I don't know if that was real. I was like 10.
We did a lot of writing down secrets and then burning them and then putting them in like old Dr. Pepper bottles and then just burying those. So I'm sure we've ruined the soil at our friends' like backyards.
Me and my sister, so we'll wrap this up. Again, people like think we're like spiritual or something. I'm just very intuitive also. Like very intuitive. I'll think of somebody that call me or like I'm always texting you at the same exact moment you're texting me. Like things like that. But my sister and I did a cleansing of a house of our friends.
Yeah.
I don't know if I even believe that, whatever, but this
With
lady.
the sage and all that stuff.
Yeah, and then we like had some candles and made up something. And me and my sister aren't those people really, but our friend and I, we had been drinking some wine. We're like, yeah, we're gonna get some crystals and some of
Dude,
this.
I know a chick that sells
And,
water
yeah, let's
bottles
bring the
with
rosary.
I know a chick that sells water bottles with a crystal inside.
What?
Oh, yeah.
And it says that that's like
Oh yeah, they drink the crystals.
Filterizing.
Have you seen the sports bras too that they sell with a pocket for your crystal right in the middle? They have a little pouch and it's specifically for that. And I think because I talk about joking about witchcraft so much that my Instagram, all the things on there, I was like, here, have some witchcraft. Like all the sponsored things are like, here's witch things, here's some spell books, here's all the time. And then I go to them. I didn't even know there was witch pop music. Like
Sure.
witch pop. It's like hyper pop about witches stuff. I don't know, but I run into
Christian
that.
Yeah.
punk Christian.
Like Reliant K.
Oh, Reliant K. MXPX was like
Yeah.
in that realm.
Yeah.
Weren't they for a minute?
No, there was a band called The Crucified too back in the 80s. That was a punk Christian band.
Crucified.
Or,
I listened to like Under Road.
Striper. Or
Striper.
Striker.
Yeah, Striper's
Is
that.
it Striper? Yeah.
metal.
There is a Striker.
I still, I
Under Oath
will
and
still
Emery, I used to
occasionally
listen
listen to
to.
DC Talk, and that's an era. That's like
I mean, yeah.
it's a time.
Yeah, I'll go back to some old stuff for sure. I'm way too nostalgic in the music. I'm like, grow up already, Carla. You're not 17. Get it together. But I think part of it too is like not having kids. It's like I don't feel like I'm aging at all, and everybody around me, like their kids are now the age I feel like I am. Like, wait, I know what's going on. All right, I'm forever Peter Panning and also impostering. But I appreciate both of you so much, and Patty for hanging as well, and Snow the dog. Check out Sarah K Comedy, Sarah Kennedy. I'm Carla Vasquez, Carla Vasquez Comedy. Also,
Wait.
Carla V Thinks Out Loud.
What do you
When-
have coming up?
Oh yeah, what do I have coming up? I think I might have a show tomorrow, The Secret, like weed shows.
Oh yeah.
Possibly. I'm doing that women's show July 28th. I feel like I had another show now. I'm spacing. I don't know. It'll all be on like my page, Carla Vasquez Comedy, and as well as possibly even on Carla V Thinks Out Loud. We'll be posting things. It's gonna be like more. These last 2 weeks have been a little like whatever, moving the days around, but we will be on Wednesdays next week. I'll be promoting it more, whatever. We'll have more live people watching all that stuff, but watch afterwards, watch everywhere. Yeah, if you guys can pull up Spotify on your phone and then your backup phone, you pull up Twitch and watch that and just mute those, and then you can pull up
Leave
YouTube.
Them on all night.
Yeah, just keep going around and just keep one, if you want to listen to volume, just have one on volume, just see us like triple, quadruple of our faces.
Yeah.
Please do that for listening. I appreciate everybody here. Check us out next week, 6 p.m. live, everywhere you can listen, stream, whatever. I'm Carla Vasquez, Sarah Kennedy. We got Larry. Have a good night, guys.
Bye. Bye. Just wave until it's all gone.